Hi friends, Mindy here. I am on the creative team for Keys of the Kingdom, and today I'm going to be using Sarah's printables to create a page in my journaling Bible. And I'm using these two sets. They are called Focus and Focus 2, I think. These can be found in her shop. They're kind of similar, but they have the same scripture with them, but I'm going to be using different elements from each of these two sets to create my page today. I really love the camera imagery, and so I have pulled out some washi tape from my stash that I might use to do this page. And then I also have an idea that I will be using these distress crayons that I just recently got to do the background work, and then I'm not really sure from there where we'll go, but this printable says the scripture that's with it is Psalm 91:14, but I am actually going to be journaling in Colossians 3. So I have my journaling Bible here, and I think I'm going to work on the left side of the page here. And I'm just going to get started. I'm going to put you on fast forward and talk you through what I'm doing in Colossians 3 today. Okay, so I'm just putting a mat here behind this page because I'm going to be using some distress crayons, and it's going to get a little wet, so I'm just protecting that page behind there. So I'm just scribbling this distress crayon on around the edge. I'm kind of putting the focus area down here in this bottom left-hand corner where I'm concentrating the most color and the darkest of this color. This, I believe that one was Faded Jeans, and then I'm going to come in here with another lighter color and kind of blend them together. These work really well, and they did not bleed through my Bible page, and I didn't prep my page or anything. And now I'm just taking a baby wipe and just going over it. It's not a super wet one. You could even do it with a damp paper towel or whatever. And then I'm just kind of using a circular motion and with this baby wipe and blending these two colors in down here at the bottom. And then I will take my heat gun and dry this, and then I'll add another layer. At this point I decided I was just going to go ahead and add some color up in the top right hand corner as well. I didn't like only having it in the bottom section, so I'm just kind of doing the same thing. Up in the top right hand corner is going to be the dark blue, and then the lighter color toward the middle of the page. So I'm starting with the lighter color first again, and then moving into the darker color and just smushing that around with this baby wipe, trying to keep the page from getting too wrinkled while I'm working here. And then once I have that all dissolved and smoothed out, I'm just going to hit it with my heat tool again, and then come back with another layer. And you can keep layering this as much as you want to get that intense color that you're looking for. So I'm coming back in again with another layer, and then a little just kind of on the edge, and then some more in the center. One of the things about a lot of watercolor products is they dry back kind of a lot lighter than they go down, so you might find yourself needing to do more than one layer to get the kind of intensity that you want. So I'm just, again, going through making sure everything is smoothed out the way that I want, and then I'm going to hit this with my heat gun one last time. And one of the things to keep your pages from kind of curling up is as I'm drying it, I'm kind of pulling on the edges with my left hand, just trying to straighten it out as much as I can. And then I get my page really hot, and then I close my Bible and just allow the pressure to kind of, it almost irons it. And it doesn't make it perfectly flat, but it really does help. So I'm just going to let that sit for a minute, and just with all the pressure of the other pages of the Bible. And in the meantime, I'm going to cut out some of the images that I think I might use for this page. And now I open it back up, and you can see it's not 100% flat, but it's pretty decent. So that's just a trick you can try if you're doing something with a lot of watercolor. And at this point, I have a few images here of the little camera strip, the film strips, and then like the lens of the camera. And I think that these are the 3 pieces that I'm going to use, but as part of my process, I just kind of work through and pull things out and put things in different places and kind of move things around. And I never really know how it's going to end up until we get to the very end. So here I'm just deciding kind of on the placement. I really want to use that film strip, so I'm trying to make it work. This Bible is a little bit smaller than some of my other Bibles. This is a new to me Bible, so I'm trying to get used to the size of it here, so it's a little bit different for me. But anyway, as you can see now, I have some other images pulled out. Some of these were from the other set, the other Focus on God set. So I have put down just the little narrow washi strip that looks like the film, and I'm just doing that across the bottom just to anchor everything. And I'm going to have that camera sitting there. It just gives it a place so it doesn't seem like it's just kind of floating out into space. And then I have this film strip and this word that says focus, and I want to kind of wrap that film strip around the word that says focus. So I'm just taking my X-Acto knife and I'm cutting just right along one of the edges of the strip so that I can tuck part of this cutout behind the word and allow part of it to come in front. And then I'm just temporarily holding that together with some washi tape just to make sure that that looks the way that I want. And I kind of think this is how everything's going to go here. I need to trim down these words that say focus on God. So I'm just trimming off a little bit of the white space. And now I'm trying this out turned sideways. And I kind of like how that looks. But again, there's just not a lot of room on this page. So I'm going to go back to my process here of just kind of moving things around. I like the little pop of purple from the camera and from these words. And then I think, well, maybe I'll try this film strip somewhere else. This is why I don't adhere anything until the very end when I'm sure I have it the way that I want it. So I can keep kind of moving things around as I go. And I kind of like this, but then it's covering up some of the camera. So I decided that I probably won't leave that film strip kind of sitting like that. And I'm just pulling things and looking at the printables and just trying to decide what I'm going to do. And I decide that I really like that film strip kind of wrapped around that word that says focus. And I know for sure that I want the camera down at the bottom. So I'm going to put this film strip down here at the bottom. And whenever you have like different elements, it helps if they're kind of anchored together in some way. So that's kind of the problem when I had it just kind of up in the top right hand corner. Everything just felt like it was floating in its own little place, and that didn't really work for my eye. So I have this word that says focus with the film strip, and that's kind of up at the top and functions as my title. And then all of my other pieces are basically anchored together down here in the bottom left hand corner. And so by putting that film strip behind the camera, it just really anchors everything, and I still get the pieces on there that I want. So I just put a little bit of glue on one end here of the film strip, and I'm going to tuck that behind the camera. I'm just trying to decide if I want it straight across or wonky. I kind of prefer things like a little bit wonky instead of just perfectly straight. And then I am adhering only the part of this that's going to be kind of in that blank space. I want to be able to lift up the right side so that I can still see the words. That's not a huge deal for everybody, but that's just personal preference. Whenever possible, I like to leave it readable. And so in the case of printables or ephemera pieces like this, if I can, then I will just leave them glued down so that they're just glued down partially, so I can still lift it up if I want to, even though this isn't my main study Bible. That's just personal preference. Some people don't have any trouble covering the words, and that's totally fine. So anyway, moving on, I am gluing down these words that say focus on God here in this part of the film strip. And then now I'm going back through these verses in Colossians that talk about setting your mind on Christ, and then putting on things like love and charity and meekness and all those kinds of things. And I just felt like these are really good attributes to be focused on so that we can be like Christ. And so I'm just going back through and highlighting, underlining some of these verses in this chapter 3 of Colossians that were really important for me personally. And then I have a pen here, and I'm just writing a little prayer in the margin, and then I dated it. And so at this point, I can still read under there, so I'm happy, but I'm still feeling like I need something in that top right-hand corner just to really finish it off. So what I decided to do is make a little tab, and I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch, and I'm just going to be clipping out a little section of this printable. And so, use your printables how you want to use them. Obviously, this was kind of designed as a journaling spot, but I'm just taking one little section of it. And I'm also doing this so that I can bring some of the purple from the bottom of the page up to the top of the page. And it just helps with the continuity and helping everything feel cohesive. And so I'm taking some of that film strip washi. I have just a little piece left over, but I wanted something just a little bit longer. So I got another little piece of this washi that's down at the bottom, and I'm just adding it up here kind of on this left side of this little tab that's going to be sticking up at the top. And then I really felt like this word focus needed some purple just to kind of, again, we're trying to, move the color around the page and just bring all of these pieces together. So by having some purple over here, it really just helps everything to stay really cohesive. So this is what I'm using is a Neocolor 2. This is a water soluble pastel. And so you can kind of just color it down similar to Distress crayons. You color it, and then you can just blend it out with, I'm using a water brush here. And I've just added purple to that whole word. And then I just kind of felt like it just needed a little bit of something else. So I decided to add some splatters down here on this film strip. And then I decided to just go crazy and add splatters everywhere. And this is a pretty translucent color, so even though I'm going to be splattering over the text of the Bible, you can still read through all of that. So I'm just getting it wet, and with the Neocolors, you can pull the color right off the crayon, which is what I'm doing because I'm using a water brush. So anyway, that is my page for today. If you liked this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when we post new videos. Until next time, bye-bye.